requires growth. And so I want to teach you something here. When we talk about 21st century, leadership, do you think leadership is different last time and now? I tell you a secret, it's the same. You know what has changed? Context. Everything else is the same. To become a leader, if I bring Genghis Khan or a military, one of those old Saladin or one of those old leaders, and I put them in today's context, they will still be successful. Because it's nothing to do with, it's contextual, true. But in the old days, leaders will, because in today, if you want to be credible, you must have credibility. It's part of leadership, right? Very important to be credible. So in the old days, to be credible, you must be very good at your gun. Because you can talk all you want, be very good communicator. If you cannot shoot well, you're a dead leader, right? Today, we have different ways to be credible. But it's still about credibility. It's the same. And this is the irony of it. Actually, leadership to the 21st century is exactly the same. The problem is context has changed. And here's the other problem. In the 21st century, this is very interesting. The internet has democratized leadership. And what that means is, today, last time, you can bluff and say, I got title, I got position, I can get away with it. Today, because of the democratization of leadership and the transparency everywhere, you cannot. So the real leaders will still be successful. The not so good leaders will be caught up even faster. So everyone needs to build their leadership. Everyone needs to. If you're a parent, you're a leader, If you have kids, the kids are looking up to you as their leader. And if you don't have the leadership skill, then they are role modeling you. They will become you down the road. And this is a problem also, right? If you say, I only have one boss that I've worked all my life, at least lucky you. All the rest, zero boss. Then who to role model? That boss lah. So you become that lah. So the quality level always remains at that level. Okay, so I want to teach you something in the sense that there are 3 key aspects of leadership. And let me know, time-wise, how much? I'm at another half an hour. Okay, good. Okay, so in terms of leadership, there are really 3 phases to leadership. Now, why was Mozilla Firefox successful? Let me tell you why. Because they had purpose. The leader had purpose. You know what's the purpose of Mozilla Firefox? Guess. Can you guess what? 40 employees killed 20,000 programmers. Mozilla Firefox's purpose is to kill Microsoft. They are former Netscape employees. So they set up the company. We want to kill Microsoft because those, I don't use those words, fellas from Microsoft are such idiots. So let's kill Microsoft. And guess what? They shared their vision with everybody. 25 million programmers. I will program for you for free because I also don't like Microsoft. I want to kill them too. So while Microsoft pays 19,500 programmers, right? Or 19,000 programmers, they have to pay them. Mozilla gets 25 million programmers for free. Who's going to win? 25 million programmers or 19,500? And if you use Firefox, every few weeks there will be patches, upgrades, this and that. Microsoft longer because you're talking about smaller, but they have a purpose. Why does AirAsia win? Why did AirAsia start winning in the 90s, late 90s? Cheap, I also can copy cheap. Everybody can copy cheap. Cheap, very easy, right? You know, in Singapore they set up 5 low-cost airlines. 2 already bankrupt. They set up exactly the same model as AirAsia. MAS also set up the same model, right? Firefly. Why not successful? Because AirAsia, the heart of what they are, is not a low-cost airline. They are actually an airline where everybody can fly. Now it's different. Their purpose is to make everybody fly. Now, it's the truth. Before 1999, 90% of Malaysians didn't fly. It's a fact. After 1999, majority of Malaysians have flown. And so in AirAsia, they set up the company with a purpose. We want to make Malaysians fly. And so because of that, how do we make Malaysians fly? Okay, there are poor Malaysians who cannot afford anything. There are very rich Malaysians who can afford a lot. So if a normal ticket price is 500, let's say my ticket price is 500, AirAsia charge how much?
200.
Okay, low-cost airline, they charge 200. For everybody lah. Low-cost airline, right? Everybody 200. Cheaper, right? Compared to 500. But AirAsia doesn't charge like that, right? Because what's AirAsia's purpose? Everybody fly, right? So some fella got $0. So 0 means how much must I price? 0 lah. But if you're very rich, A lot of money. My normal price is 500. How much must I charge? 600, 700. Their pricing go even higher than MAS. Because their purpose is what? Everybody fly. Their purpose is not low-cost airline. Apple purpose, to put it there, you start to look at all the companies, they have a purpose. They look at individuals, they have a purpose. Great leaders have a vision, have a purpose. They know where they and it starts with that, Then comes this second phase, which is everybody, okay, you have a purpose. But here's the problem. The problem is actually you're down there. And this is a big problem in our country, in many, many areas. And actually, if you listen, you read a lot of Pemandu reports, this is the number one issue. We think we are better than who we are. We have no sense of who we are. The best leaders, they have this vision. Okay, let's make Malaysia develop by 2020. But they also say, okay, what's the reality? Where are we today? How far behind? In 1998, Korea did this. They took a deep look at themselves. And they said, actually, we are down here. We actually always thought we are up. They always thought they are somewhere here. And so the reforms become from here. The plans come from here. But when you realize you're down here, you start working up plans from here up. And this is what happened in 1998 Korea. When they had a big crisis, infrastructurally, they said they had to change a lot of things. And finally comes the last piece, learning. For you to move from here to here, you have to learn, you have to grow. You have to execute, or you have to change. Actually, this is the easy part. The hard part is this part and this part. A lot of people love this part. Oh, I have a dream. Actually, if Martin Luther King, when he said, I have a plan, I have a wonderful plan, nobody will listen. But he said, I have a dream, then everybody listen. We like dreams. But the problem is, the dream must be translated to reality. And then you can put a plan. Okay, so we talk about this dream, right? Purpose. Many departments, many divisions, government, business, actually don't understand what their purpose is. And because of that, the employees are confused. And really, even companies sometimes are confused about their purpose. Why do we exist? But if we have understanding of purpose, and we have best leaders, very clear, this is where we want to go. And because this is where we want to go, we are very clear, everybody has alignment. I talk about this guy. You know this guy, Nelson Mandela? Now, Nelson Mandela is like a god in South Africa, correct? But it's very interesting. You ask him, what is his purpose? He will tell you very clearly, my purpose is to eliminate apartheid in South Africa and to unite the nation. That's it. So, let me ask you a question. Should a leader fight or quit? Which is more important? See, you're still together here. It depends on the circumstance, right? Sometimes the leader must fight, sometimes the leader must quit. Nelson Mandela, for 27 years, he fight against apartheid. Finally, he became president of South Africa. What did he do when he became president of South Africa? He quit. Because he said, I don't want to make the same mistake Gandhi made. He said Gandhi managed to unite the nation, managed to get independence, but he didn't become prime minister. And because of that, India went through all our problems. So he said, I had to become prime minister. But that's not my goal. My goal is not to become prime minister. My goal is to unite the nation and to eliminate apartheid. So finally, when he got rid of apartheid, he became prime minister. He says, I have to hit my second goal, unite the nation. The moment he united South Africa, what did he do? He quit. But he can stay there for president forever. This guy is like a god. If he wants to be president for the whole life until he died, everybody will agree, no problem. But he understood. That's why he's a great leader. Because he was very clear of his purpose. He executed it. He achieved it. He struggled for 27 years. But the moment he became successful, he quit. Because that's not his purpose. And so sometimes you ask yourself individually, what's my purpose? What am I here for? Then you can ask at the department level, what's my purpose? What's our purpose? What's organization? At the business level, what's our purpose? If you're very clear, remember, leaders, the best leaders actually have followers. Sometimes a lot of people say, I'm a leader, but nobody follows. That means you're not a leader. Because leader must have followers. And followers got two types of followers. There's follower number one, who is a compliant follower. A compliant follower is like this. Do this, I'm the boss. Okay, boss, I do. 9 to 5, I do. 5 o'clock, I look at you and walk off. Or 6 o'clock, whatever your time. That's a compliant follower. The second follower is a committed follower. Now, if you want to inspire committed followers, committed followers.